All right, so 2021 Nissan Murano, third generation. I'm going to service the CVT today, the transmission. Probably pull the pan, check the metal internal filter, the mesh filter, and I'll probably pull the external filter, the cylindrical paper filter, inspection filter, to see what's going on with it. Um, at about 100 and a little over 116,000 miles right now. Last time I changed it was, I think around 97, or maybe it was 100,000. I don't know. Had the board up on planks, just gave me a little more height. I had the parking brake on, wheels chalked, can't go anywhere. Keep some cardboard blocks, I know, so I can break them down and lay on those things and slide around easier under the car. Keep some paper and a little catch pan. I jack up the frame a little bit more on the pinch weld. Just give me a little more height so I can work underneath there more comfortably. Again, another jack stand right there in case something ever happens and things fall apart. I took off the front spoiler or air dam, I think it was about 2 months ago, just because I didn't like the look of it. Plus, it gives me room to just work under the car. If the car breaks down on the side of the road, at least I can get under the car and look at things where I don't have to have the jack to jack it up or something. So it's a little safer situation. Much easier to change the oil and stuff like that. So briefly, to familiarize yourself with what's going on here, passenger front side, that's the engine oil pan to drain the motor oil, and then the CVT drain pan is underneath this skid plate right here, skid guard. So I'm going to pop off several fasteners. Before I do that, I keep the car pretty clean. I go under every so often and use the undercarriage wash. So everything's fairly clean anyway. But before I take off these clips, I like to spray them down a little bit of water, try to get any dust off them. This is just plain old tap water. Anything you can do to help, will end up acting as a lubricant to help the fasteners come off easier. So I'm just going to take off the 3 fasteners. One right there, and then this one, and then this one, and leave the rest of them on, and just bend the whole skid back this way. Sorry if I keep moving the camera. It's like I'm trying to see what I'm doing and keep the camera steady. Once the pin pops, you can probably just get this thing to twist out of there. Yep. Now that it's out, I'm going to drop it in a cup of water just to soak it so I can put it in easier. It keeps it more lubricated for the next time. I'm trying to see where I am here for orientation. That's a problem. I'm trying to look at the camera and look at my pry tool to see if I'm on the right place. I'll spin a little bit. Again, you don't just pry these down. You kind of try to wiggle the tool back and forth a little bit to try to get the center pin to pop out first. Now, ideally, what you'd want to do is try to get the water on the top side so it drips down into the center pin to loosen it up. But if you keep wiggling it back and forth like this, the center pin will pull out, and then you'll just be able to pop this thing out without damaging it. Because it seems like a lot of technicians, I'm seeing a lot of these skid plates just dragging on the ground behind cars. So I'm guessing whoever's servicing their vehicles are just going underneath it and just prying these things out of here. So you can keep reusing these if you're careful with them. Let's see, so I got that one. Yeah, I'm going to take this one off too. I don't do this one enough, like my oil, to know exactly which ones I take out. I'm pretty sure I always take this one out, though. I could be wrong. I may not have taken this one out before. It's a little rusty. There's some rust on in the hole. Folding this down and pulling the whole thing back, and I'll use one of the fasteners to hold it back there. Or wait a minute, you know what? I think I might use either a spring clip, or maybe even a bungee cord. I forgot. Maybe a little bungee cord. I'll just bungee it up to here so it's not in the way. The guard is pinned up with one of the fasteners. If I need to, I can, I have plenty of space, but if I need to, I can put something else here to hold, to flatten this even more, to give me more chest room. But I have plenty of room now to get between here to get underneath there to do everything. Now, all right, so here's the inspection filter right there. Got to pop off 4 10mm bolts. The toughest one to get is on the top right-hand side over here. Yeah, I don't need to do anything else with the skid guard. I've got plenty of access right there. This is the, I can't pull back any further, unfortunately. I'm already zoomed out as far as I can go. This is the entire CVT pan right here. Has a good seal. There are no leaks on it. I haven't seen any metal particulates anywhere, flakes, residue, shavings anywhere anywhere in the old fluid. I didn't see any on the inspection filter when I pulled it around 80, I think it was like 78,000 or 67,000 maybe, whatever it was. Was the last time I replaced it, and I just put the old filter back in because there was nothing wrong with it. I hate to ruin a good seal right here, so I'm probably going to send my endoscope through the drain plug, and also I'll send it through the overfill plug to see if I can get a peek. I got a new endoscope that has a side camera on it. So I'm hoping with the side camera, once I put it in here, I'll be able to see different views of things and get a good view of the pan. The pan magnets are right where these indentations are. They're round magnets that sit on nubs inside on the other side of this pan. And when the fluid is returning to the CVT from the system, when it's circulating, it's falling down, I believe, onto those pan magnets, which are catching any kind of metal particles. So we'll see after 100, I'll see after about 117,000 miles what things look like now. In the fluid, I believe this is 18 or 19 millimeter bolt head. I think this one up here is a 14, the drain is a 14 millimeter. And again, these are 10 millimeters. Yeah, you'll need either a special wrench or a special extension. This bracket is in the way, so you'll want to pop off this little fastener if you're 2021, if your vehicle has it. I don't know if all third generations have this bracket right here. That's a bracket that goes into for a speed sensor, and it actually also holds an O2 sensor for the exhaust system. So all these things are in the way. You may want to. You can't really it's actually a 19 millimeter. Again, I don't do this often enough to remember what it is. I thought it was an 18. It's a 19. So drain plug's a 19, and the overfill right there probably looks like a 14. What I want to mention, probably in case you're asking yourself why I didn't use penetrating oil or WD-40 or some kind of lubricant on those this plastic skid guard fastener pins. Because I'd rather use water. I don't want chemicals and stuff falling down on me, and I don't want like WD-40 just makes everything slippery and harder to work around. So I'd rather have water dripping down on the surface I'm working at or onto me rather than have chemicals. So I'm going to need 2 hands to initially break this drain plug. So I'm probably not going to be able to show it, so I don't bust my knuckles. I like pushing away on this thing. Okay, I think that broke it. Fingers on the way. So all I'm doing is keeping pressure upward while I'm spinning it, and then in the very last second, I'll pull it when I think it's completely loose and all the threads are out. I'll just give it a quick pull back, let it drip into there, and then I don't get food all over myself. Well, when you're draining this, keep an eye on it. What's going to happen is it'll initially come out fast over here. And if you have your bucket centered, or your catch pan centered, what will happen is, depending upon the orientation of your car, once it gets to a trickle, it'll start running down there, and it might bypass your pan. So make sure your pan, your catch basin is further back to catch it once it starts dripping. One of the easiest things to do is take off this little speed sensor right here. That way we can get better access. Now, if there's a shim with this thing, which there very well could be careful of it, don't lose it. Whatever you do, don't damage the sensor. I don't know don't see a shim, so that's good. All right, and just so I don't damage the speed sensor, I'm going to put it in a glove and just tuck it up out of the way. I think that's like a 5 or 6 inch quarter-inch drive extension, a small 10 millimeter universal, and I popped off the top left one, no problem. I took out the speed sensor, which is right here, put it in the glove, tucked it behind there, took out the little fastener, and bent the bracket back a little bit, just to give me some room to work and everything. So I just had the other 3 bolts removed. So you don't really need any special tools. And just, since you're probably not going to use a torque wrench on these things, it's doubtful you will, try to keep a feel for how loose things are, so you know how tight to put them when you redo this. So I'm just using the quarter-inch extension with a swivel and a 10 millimeter socket just to finish taking off this hard bolt way up top. Sometimes I get confused and I thought I was on the wrong bolt. The filter at 117,000. Well, I'll show it later. Well, at least I think they're particles. It kind of look like it, but maybe it's just the glitter or the shimmer of the fluid. And maybe there's some. Again, it's hard to tell what's fabric, the material for the filter material and the folds, and what's metal. I'll probably cut this open later, but maybe put my digital microscope to it, but probably not. You know, there aren't any big pieces here, and I didn't see any in the oil pan, so I'm guessing things are still fine. Maybe there's some sludge buildup from the fluid. What I'm going to do is I'll put the 2 bottom screws in first, 2 bottom bolts in first, then I'll get the most difficult one on the 3rd one, and then I'll get the 4th one over here. And then what I'll do is I'll bend the sensor bracket. Oops, where is it? I'll bend this sensor bracket back over to here. I'll take the speed sensor, that little fastener right there goes back into that slot, and then the speed sensor goes back into there. And I gotta remember the shim. Oh, where is it? The shim, because the shim sits right into there for the speed sensor to sit against. And what I'm doing is I'm just twisting the fillet a little bit to make sure it goes in there on the top. Now I'll put in and the good thing is you'll know if the O-ring slips out, because you won't the housing will not sit flush to anything. So as long as you can get the first bolt in all the way, the rest should be pretty simple. I only use the swivel of the universal on that one on that one bolt. Yeah, in fact, I don't know why I'm using the swivel here, but the universal doesn't really work on this thing. And obviously you don't want to cross or anything, so be very careful and go slowly with it and make sure, yeah, that one's in fine. Again, screw them in as much as you can, turn them in as much as you can by hand. This one is going to use a straight extension for the top one, the most difficult one, just because trying to start it with the swivel is really next to impossible. So as long as I can get it close into that hole, I should be able to get my finger on it to keep it there. Even if I can get the thread to simply there we go. All right, so it's in there. And I'm just using the tip of my pinky to try to get that in as far as I can. Because what will end up happening is, I need to, the hard thing, see, this is where, I mean, I'm torn. If I put the carp on rams, it could make it easier, but then I like working kind of close and not having my arms super extended. Now the problem with the universal in a socket, the universal, oh my God. The problem with the universals is that in the socket is that the you can't push in very short screws. They're very short screws, so the head, if the head doesn't bottom out, you can't try to push in the bolt a little bit to get it to start. And now my hands are slippery with a little bit of fluid on the gloves, but I do believe it's going in. Yeah, it's going in. Yep, all right. So now I'm going to snug that one a little bit. No, I'll put the bottom one after this, but... So now you've got to draw on your memory. If you don't have a... I don't have an inch-pounds torque wrench. Where the hell goes... Where are the... I should be using my other ratchet. It's a lot better for this application because I can hold onto the head and spin the head rather than try to spin the extension, because it has that little grippy socket thing on the end of it. Okay, that felt good. Going by hand. Again, I'm not sure why I'm using the swivel on this one. I don't need to. You can go straight. But what I like to do is that now I'm using the same setup for all 4 bolts, so it'll give me an idea of how much to tighten them. And the last one, use a swivel on this, or the universal rather. Yeah, that's a problem with this is an old, I mean this. All right, that feels good. All right, that's it. All right, now it's a matter of putting the speed sensor back in. God, that light's blinding. Where's the... Insert it straight into the hole without scuffing it. Down the 10 millimeter bolt. That's it. Little nudge there. I'm going to put the little fastener back in the bracket. I can't even see what I'm doing, but I know it's up there somewhere. I can't get my hand up there. Oh, I need the light too. It's partway in. There it is. And I'll bend the bracket back so it's straight. So everything is the way it... All right, because I'm not sure what I was able to show you guys. I couldn't tell what the camera was showing. This was the bracket that I pushed. This is the bracket that I pushed in here about 1/2 inch. Holds the sensor wire and the speed sensor wire, the O2 sensor wire. And I took the speed sensor out to have a better shot, a better line of sight at the bolts and all that, and so it wasn't getting in the way. I didn't want to damage this thing at all. I decided that at 117,000 miles, there's no point. There's no reason not to change the metal mesh filter, just in case there's something there. There's nothing on the holes. These holes right there are for the alignment pins. So those, you don't count those holes, but just keep in mind them. So I'm going to stop this going to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. 19 and 2 alignment pins on opposite corners and a little off-centered thing right there. The view it'll be able to be maintained while I'm doing this. It won't be in the way of the catch pan or anything, which I should get back over here, but I won't right now. So these are all 10 millimeter bolts. I'm using a 3/8" drive ratchet, 10 millimeter socket, and probably about a 6-inch extension. Yeah, this thing was barely on there, so that's how they go. So now I'm breaking these with my hand as close to the ratchet head as it can be. So my hand is like right against this as I'm tightening. So I'm using my thumb on my 2 fingers just for untightening. So that'll tell me how much I need to tighten when I do it and where my finger placement needs to be. Oh yeah, these are barely on there. So these are probably like 11 inch-pounds maybe. And what I like to do, I like to just break all of them first. And by breaking, for those aren't familiar, breaking just means to start just to loosen all the bolts, like a quarter of a turn, just to make sure they all turn out. Because if you have one, so 19 pan bolts. Now, when this pan drops down, remember not to tip it, try to keep it as level as you can, because there is still some fluid in it, especially in the end part where the pickup is, the metal filter spout is. So what I'm doing is, as I'm taking these down, I'll actually leave that. Oh, there we go, fluid's coming out now. I was going to say I'll leave a couple of front ones in on this side, just till the stuff drains. And I'm in no hurry right now, just let the stuff drain for a little while, just to make sure it's, one bolt had a little bit of fluid on it, so it made it more difficult for the, let's see, is it the last, okay, that's the last one right there. No one over there. So I'll take all these back, or the ones closest to the front of the car, the grill side, all these grill side bolts first. And it's coming loose, although there could still be some oil in there, so I don't want to have it back up on me and come back toward me. I want it to all go into the catch pan. So let's see, I've got 4 bolts in place now, 2 in the front, 1 in the middle. And when I get to one the end, what I'll do is I'll use the back of my hand to hold against the pan. Hopefully, it all depends on the angle. I don't really have a lot of good space to work into here like that. So usually what I'll do is I'll put my hand right here as I'm loosening the last one, and then I'll slowly let it drop into here or guide it into there so all the fluid goes into there. Sometimes easier said than done. So I think, and of course, this skid thing now is deciding it doesn't want to stay. And hopefully I'm not going to slip and drop this this bolt into the fluid. I'm just going to use my fingers and not use the extension to make sure I get a good grip on it. Okay, now there's only one left. Make sure I'm aligning my pan here, just in case things go crazy. Now I'm going to do the last pan bolt in this corner. And I'll just slightly angle it down. Again, I'm in no rush. I don't want to make a mess. Because if I make a mess, it's just it's going to take more time to clean it up later on. So I'd rather just have everything go where it's supposed to go. But I don't want the pan to drop in there, obviously. Oh, that's right, the pan magnets. We'll have to see how bad the pan magnets are now as far as metal and stuff like that. I'm expecting to see a lot of sludge, maybe. The fluid actually looks pretty good. Oh, that's the other thing. Right now, the pan, there's fluid dripping from the valve body. So if I move the pan out all the way, there's going to be fluid dripping everywhere. So I've got to actually make sure my pan isn't back far enough to catch all the stuff in the valve body. I didn't have to take it down. There's barely any sludge, and there's barely, I don't even see anything on here that's wrong. Damn it, I should have taken it down. Oh well. Well, now I'll have to see what's in the actual metal filter. All right. All right, so that's the first look. Your first look at the valve body. My first look ever at this valve body. That's the metal mesh filter right there, and that's the pickup, the oil pickup. Actually, the CVT fluid pickup that picks up the oil, brings it through to the valve body, or vice versa. Maybe. Oh yeah, I think it sucks. Yeah, it sucks it up and brings it through to the valve body. All these things are all the solenoids that make up the valve body, the stepper motor, or the step motor or stepper motor right there, or the step arm. All right, let's have a look at the pan magnets. A little bit of sludge. Actually, when I'm wiping the bottom of this pan, I haven't wiped this yet. There's nothing on here. I mean, there's barely any sludge. So that castrol, castrol. This is again. This is the first time I'm wiping it. Look at this. When I wipe this, clean flat right there. There's barely anything on that thing. I mean, so that's like wiping off your arms after. Let's see about the actual magnets themselves. Yeah, these are, but no, I don't. I'll put my reading glasses on. I can't tell, but I don't. Maybe there's some metal on there. Let me get my magnet real quick. All right, let me see. There's nothing on this magnet. Oh yeah, there's a little bit. Okay. Oops. Wipe this down here. Well, it's not much. Oh yeah, there's some right there. I think that's a good show of some stuff. But this is why I haven't even my test swabs in the beginning. I wasn't getting anything. There's really nothing here. There was nothing on the inspection filter. So that's a good thing. Apparently, the third generation CVTs have improved to where they're not shedding off metal while everything's working. I'm going to make a mess. Preparing this, I mean, you can still see somewhere where the old gasket was, but if you run your finger over it, you can't actually feel anything. And the danger with trying to get all this off is you could end up scratching the surface, and those are places where CVT fluid could potentially leak out. So I think as long as you can drag your ungloved finger over a surface and you don't feel it, you should be fine. I'm not saying don't do proper prep work and get this all down to nothing, but I think it's really overkill and you risk damaging something, and I don't want to damage the coating on this pan. So I don't want to be too aggressive with it to where I end up scratching the pan. That could create a rusting situation down the road. So right now I'm pretty happy with it. I may go over it with, I'm not even going to use steel wool. I might go over it with a dishwashing sponge. I think the pink ones are the least abrasive. See, the pink ones or the blue ones. And I just lightly go over it and see if that stuff comes up. Valve body, I just took a paper towel and just like sop up what's there gently. I'm going to take a look without dropping my phone in the old oil. You'll be able to see it for a while because I'm not going to be able to get that vantage point. I want to see how things look up in that pickup. Well, I think that's supposed to be white. So it's pickup looks slightly longer actually. It actually is a little bit longer by a hair. It only has 2 bolts on it, so that's good. But maybe it's just my imagination with the angle because one's closer and one's further, just the perspective. Looks slightly longer though. Anyway, and I won't really see if there's anything, the metal things up there until, because the screen is above wherever this cotton fabric thing is in the front and the cloth thing is in the front. So those again look like 10 millimeter bolts, and I think those are probably torqued down a lot more than the pan bolts. Those are probably more like, those aren't, try to see how tight these are. Oh, these are really loose too. These probably aren't much tighter than the pan bolts. A little bit, but not much. Looks like there were 2 of them here. I was going for a third one back there. I got to put my pan back in here, my catch basin. And what I'll do is I'll get the bolt that's over the drain pan out first. Drain pan over the catch basin, whatever you want to call it. And these bolts are probably all the same, but I'll put them. Oh man, I hate that. Need to wipe it a little easier. Yeah, so now we'll be able to tell if there's any, I mean, the fact that there were no, is there a third bolt? Oh no, it's right, here's the, oh, it's right, it's completely sealed. I have no way, I'll have to look at this. I'm trying to show you stuff as much as I can, but it's really, with the lighting and everything in the way, it's kind of hard to show you everything that's going on. Let's see if we can see anything in there. Again, it looks like it's just shimmer. I don't think there are any real particles in it. What I'll do is I'm going to take send my magnet in there. No. Of course, I'm not getting way in there, but I mean, I'm getting all the way to the bottom, and I'm not getting like all the way down to there. I can't really make that angle. It's not deep enough. If it doesn't, I mean, I think I'm seeing all the way down to the bottom. So, oh, actually. Give it a couple of turns, kind of give it a little twist like you do with the ignition coil packs. You're doing the plugs and whatnot. So once again, remember how tight those were or how much force it took to take out these 2. Oh, son of a bitch. So once again, remember how tight those were or how much force it took to take out these 2. Oh, son of a bitch. Get this thing out of the way. That's it for that one. That's it for that one. Very light pressure. That's probably like, I don't know, 10 inch, maybe not 10 inch, maybe a little more than that. I don't know what it is. What I'm doing is, oh crap, I just lost it. Okay, what's going on here? Oh. Wait, what the hell's going on here? Why isn't this thing going in? Is that pickup too damn long? I think it is. Crap. Something doesn't seem right. Okay, it's right. I was worried for a second. I don't know. I thought I hit a line correctly. And I'm just going to hand tighten that one bolt I have on there, just that was keeping the gasket in place. And I'll just make sure that I'll move the gasket back and forth. Okay, it's on that alignment pin. Because what you want to make sure is that you don't, make sure you feel the gasket on the edge, and that you move your finger back and forth along between the mating surfaces to make sure you can see. I can't show that, can I? To make sure you can see the gasket moving in the empty pan bolt holes. That way, you know your gasket is there all the way down. If you don't see it, it means it folded under and fell into the pan, and you'll have to take it down and redo it again. And so do a couple on one side, a couple on the other side. And again, I'm just using my finger to sort of vibrate the side of the pan to make sure the flange, to make sure I can see the gasket there. And sometimes you can just like wiggle the pan back and forth to be able to see the gasket. So as long as you can see the gasket on all sides, you're good to go. And so right now what I'll do is I'll just, I'll turn on I'll spin on all the bolts, all the pan bolts. My alignment pins are fine. I'm just going to hand tighten these with the extension for right now, just to snug them up to get the pan up to close to where it needs to be. Vinyl gloves really aren't the best solution for this because they get really slippery as opposed to latex gloves, which maintain a little bit of stickiness so you can kind of grip things. So let's see, there were 19 bolts to put back on. And there is a tightening sequence to do. You can find it online if you want, or you can just take my word for it. Typically what you're doing is you start somewhere, it doesn't matter which side. You start with one bolt, and then you go on the other side and do the corresponding bolt across from that bolt. Then you can do the bolt next to that one, then go across the corresponding one. You kind of go, you can either work your way to one end, or you can keep alternating, going like left of center, then right of center, then left of center, right of center. Just keep going back and forth until you reach the end. Kind of like, in a sense, put it on window tint, how you smooth it out from the center out just to get out the slack. You don't want the gasket to bunch up, so you want to start from the middle and work your way to the ends. There's really no slack in these kind of things. So it's the third time on the pan. All right, I'm just hit the camera. It's like, damn, this is a pain in the ass trying to record this stuff sometimes. I really have no respect for the people that put on a good video, on how to do stuff. Because it really is time consuming to get the right angles. Then again, I don't have the right equipment to be doing it. I don't have tripods. I'm using a cell phone propped up against something. So again, right now I'm just snugging everything. Not snugging. I'm bringing the bolts until I feel resistance on the mating surfaces to the gasket. Because my gloves were so full of CVT fluid, some of these bolts I didn't spin on very much. All right, that one's good. Again, not good, I mean just snug. Now even just snugging them, if you wanted to do the sequence, you could. But what I like to do, I want to make sure that when I'm doing these, that I follow a system and a pattern, and like get into a rhythm of doing it. I don't have to keep going back saying, oh, was that one the same? Because I want to do these one after another until they're all done. So it's easier to maintain a consistent tightening force. Try not to hit the cell phone this time. All right, I think I'm ready to start my sequence now. All right, so I'm going to start in the middle. I'm going to start from this bolt right here. Then I'm going to go on the opposite side of the pan and do the corresponding one on that side. That looks good for that. And I'm holding, and I'm going to go back to the other side and do the one right next to it, just forward of it. That looks good. Then go to the other side and do the one just forward of that one. That looks good. Now I'll go back over and continue the sequence all the way to the end. Again, I'm keeping my hand very close to the head of the ratchet, so I know that I'm not going to over tighten it. Because it doesn't take much to hold this gasket in place and to see it, make it seal, have it sealed. And once I finish all these, then I'll go back to the left of center or front of center from the last ones. And now I'll start doing, I think this is the one I started on. Yeah. So now I'll do the one behind it, going toward the grill. And that's good. And then go across to the other one. And that's good. And then go to the second one from the corner. And that's good. And the corner of the alignment pin. And that one's good. Now the corner on the other side. And back to this side in the middle left or whatever. Then I'll cross the other one. Yeah, this is the loose. This is what I mean about, I like consistency. When it's easier just to keep doing them because you're using your memory muscle to know how much to tighten them. So now once I have them all where I feel they're supposed to be, I'll go around and just do one quick little thing to see if they all feel the same. I'll use the same technique, same pressure. Oh, see, this one's loosened now. And that's good. And that's what will happen. So you gotta keep going around, make sure everything feels right. No, see, that was a little loose right there. That's good. That was a little loose. As the pan gets brought up in the that's good. That's good. That's good. That's good. That's good. And that's good. So I'm gonna do it one more time, starting from the center. Okay, that got a little more on that one. That one's fine. That one's fine. That one's fine. That one's fine. Good. 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 And now the very end, the little one, this one's good. That one's good. That one's good. That one's good. That one's good. And that one's good. And that one's good. I'll do it one more. Take my 19mm socket and tighten up the drain plug. Now, I replaced the crush washer last time, so I'm not going to replace it this time. I've never had a leak. In fact, I didn't replace the crush washer ever on my 2003 oil pan. That thing never leaked the whole time I used it. That's had over 300,000 miles on it. So that's it. Job is done. Again, I'll fill the CVT right now with however many I took out. I'll measure what's in my catch pan over here. And I know it's going to be at least 3 quarts. So I'll just dump in 3 quarts. With however many I took out, I'll measure what's in my catch pan over here. And I know it's going to be at least 3 quarts. So I'll just dump in 3 quarts to begin with. And then once I measure it all out, I'll get the more final... A little tip on these fasteners here. There is an easy way to put these back on, and the thing is, don't pull them all the way back. Don't pull the center pin all the way out and then try to put it in. The center pin actually needs to be in just a hair to allow the fingers to close up. If you pull it back, if you pull it all the way out, it actually spreads apart the fingers and makes it harder to get, it makes it larger than the hole. So what you're going to do is push in the pin about halfway, so it's like this, about that deep, and just so the tip is barely sticking out there. And then as you're putting it in, like hold the outer flange and hold the pin in that position. And as you're putting it into the hole, give it a little tiny twist like this, because I think the hole sometimes is slightly elongated. So I'll do this one. The other one, I try to put these back in the same holes, but so let's see if this one fits in here better. And it does. Sometimes they were just meant to be. So this one should slip back pretty easily then, provided I'm where I need to be over here. Yep, all right. So that one's good. Damn. And then the oddball up front here. This one's a different one. So this one I don't think I actually have to take out. I don't think I've taken this one out before. That's why it looked so hard. It looked so new. All right. So now the skid guard's back on. Oh, I know what I meant to show you. Because the skid guard was flipped back and bent backwards over here, as I'm putting it back up, I take my fingers behind this area and I bend it forward and up, so it's not like buckled downward, so it doesn't look like it's bulging as much. All right, and just to complete this video, this is where you fill the CVT, pop off the little cap on the drain tube. Typically, you have to insert a little screwdriver in here and twist it or pry it a certain way to release this thing. It's a big pain in the ass. One of the first things I did within the first month of getting in this car was I scraped down the little tab in there so I can get this thing out easily if I need to, if I'm on the road and I want to do something. So this is never blown off. It has an O-ring around it, so it's never blown off. It never will unless there's probably some major catastrophe that's happening, in which case losing that cap is the last thing I'm going to worry about. Using Castrol Transmax. This stuff went on sale for, I think it was, I want to say it was like $7. Last time I scoped the fill tube on the last fill or drain and refill I did, I noticed there are some holes bored in the side of the fill tube, and I think that's to allow the stuff to go down a little easier. Because I'd hit those holes in the sides before I went into the actual drain pan area. There was almost no sludge anywhere on that valve body and very little sludge in the pan. Compared to my 2003, that thing had sludge everywhere, and the fragments looked like an Brillo pad. There were so many on the pan magnets. The gears, hold them for a second. Be sure to put the fill tube plug back on. Snaps right in there. What is that white stuff? Oh, that's right. I was doing some. Let's say there's something on that plug. I just figured out what it was. All right, that's it for that thing. So this is the CVT fluid that came out at 116,000 miles. Thing is, it's all right. So it's the following day after servicing the CVT, and I've gone about probably 50 miles, gone up and down hills, around corners, left and right, aggressively to try to get the CVT fluid sloshing around in the pan, just to test the integrity of the gasket all around the pan. If I just drive on a level road for 50 miles and don't make the CVT fluid move around much, there's a chance I'll never find any problem with the gasket seal. So right now the vehicle's up to temperature. I just went for a 15-20 minute drive. I'm going to pull the 15 millimeter overflow bolt right there. And if anything, I think this car is supposed to be running when you do this. I want to loosen it before I start the car up. And once it's loose, if any fluid's coming out, then I'll just let it trickle out, and because I'll know it's probably too full to begin with. Because once the system's running, I believe it should have more fluid in the pan. All right, so I got I got two. I think I've got like a 7-inch extension and a 5-inch extension with the 14 millimeter socket. And I'm going to try to loosen this up. I have my catch pan right here. I'm not expecting fluid to just rush out. I'm expecting it to just trickle out because I'm only going to break the bolt a little bit, enough to allow it to start coming out, and then I'll slowly turn the bolt. All right, so now it's loosened. Now I'll just take the ratchet off and use the, now if nothing starts coming out, and I think something should have come out by now, that might mean I don't have enough in there, or maybe once you start it, the level gets higher in the pan. Oh yeah, there we go, there's one drip. All right, so I'm just gonna tighten it back down now. So that means there's one drip when the fluid is up to temperature when the car isn't running. I don't currently have any more fluid to use because I've run out of the Castrol Transmax, and I can't find any more locally, so I had to order some. I had 3.5 quarts I put back in, which I think should be more than sufficient. The CVT is running great, not making any gurgling sounds or noises. So once I get that new fluid, I'll get this up to temperature, have the car running, and just let this thing drain out until it's at the proper level, and I'll put the plug back and it should be okay. It's off without hitting the camera. I got some potato bugs crawling around me. All right, this one. I'll tell you, these fasteners on the CVT side are not, wow, they're not as durable as the ones on the oil pan side. I've done probably 40 oil changes and pulled those fasteners out every single time. The CVT ones, they're broke. Both of these are broken, I think. Well, one of them's broken. Well, this one's fine. That's right. This one's fine, but this one is missing 2 of the little fingers on the side, so I've got to replace that one. For the time being, what I'll do is I'll put that one further back here and put the good one further up. But right now, I just want to check, make sure the oil pan isn't leaking at all. Okay, so there's the external filter housing. Everything looks dry up there. No problems. And this was the speed sensor that I took out right there. And that's the bracket that I just used my finger and pushed forward right there. They're just pushed toward the front of the car a little, about 1/2 inch, to give me good access to those bolts on the back side of the housing, on the filter housing. Okay, so wiped everything down, the drain plug, nothing is coming off. And that's the importance of really cleaning off the pan as well. I mean, I clean it a lot of times on the inside and outside just to prevent a lot of grime from being on here, because it makes it hard to determine later on if there's a leak or not. So, the more prep work you can do to make sure everything is as clean as possible before you put it back on, the easier it's going to be to determine if there's an issue later on once with the job that you've just done. So everything looks good. I'm going to button it up here, and once I get more CVT fluid, I will check this again to make sure everything's okay, and I'll have to replace that one fastener.